Aloha and welcome to Grade 5, Module 6, Lesson 7. We're going to generate number patterns to form ordered pairs. Now hopefully you remember that an ordered pair is your x coordinate and your y coordinate with parentheses around them, separated by a comma. And maybe you know that the word generate means to make or continue a number pattern. And we're going to be looking at ordered pairs. All right, so let's start by looking at this graph. You might notice that we have some blue points down here, some red points here, and these points are green. Okay, if you can't tell the colors on the video, just know these are blue, these are red, and these are green. Okay, what do you notice about those points? Think about what you've been learning so far. We're on lesson 7, so we've been doing 6 lessons on coordinate planes and points. So what do you know so far? Do you see the green points are all on the y-axis, right? And the blue points are all on the x-axis. The red points seem to also be in a line. Not on either of the axes, though. The x-coordinates of the blue points, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, we call that multiples of 2. How about the y? Multiples of 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, right? Like the multiplication chart. That's why it's called multiples. Yes? Okay, there's the word multiples. Multiples of 2 down here, multiples of 3 up there. What about the red points? Ooh, something interesting about the red points. Did you notice that they have the same as x as the blue and the same y as the green? Isn't that an interesting pattern, right? So 4, 6, 8, 4, 6, yeah, 6, 9, 8, 12, 10, 15. That is interesting. Wonder what point might be at our origin. Remember the word origin? Wonder whether this pattern of points continues past what we can see on the plane. What do you think about that? Today we're going to create and compare patterns of numbers using the coordinate plane. Yes, we are. All right, so let's check out some patterns here. Okay, and we're going to be using a word term. Let me just get this on the screen for you, make sure that you can see everything. It's a little bit bigger. Maybe if I adjust my camera a little bit. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to be using the word terms. And we're going to be using the word terms to mean number in a pattern, but like many words in English and other languages, term has multiple meanings, okay? So maybe you've heard of term as a period of time, right? The president is elected to a 4-year term, 4 years being the length of period of time, right? Some schools, instead of dividing into semesters or quarters, they're divided into terms, lengths of time. It could also mean a word or a phrase, like the word multiple is a term that we study in math class. All right, so in this case, we're going to be using terms to mean number in a pattern. And here we have Una's pattern, and the terms are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. The first term is 10, the second term is 20, the third term is 30. Okay, you see that? All right, so if you have a whiteboard or just a piece of paper, I would like you to make this little chart here where you're just going to divide it into 3 parts by drawing 2 lines. And we're going to be just writing down what we notice, the starting number and the rule. Okay, so thinking about Una's pattern, the starting number was 10. And do you remember the rule? It was counting by tens, right? 10, 20, 30, right? Counting by tens. Okay, so what would be the next number in that pattern? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. What would come next? 60 would be next. And what would be the 20th term in that pattern? Okay, so the 20th term in the pattern, think about that, right? Think about 10 times 20, because we're counting by tens. So 10 times 20 is 200. So the 20th term would be 200. See that? All right. Let's look at Scott's pattern. Scott's pattern is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. All right. So the first number in Scott's pattern is, I'm going to draw a line going this way too so I can separate Una and Scott. The first number in Scott's pattern is 5. And what is the rule of the pattern? Counting by fives, right? Okay. What would be the next number in the pattern? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. What would come next? 30. Good. And what would be the 20th term in that pattern? Okay. So we're counting by fives. And we want the 20th term. 5 times 20, 100 would be the 20th term in the pattern. Okay, we catching on? All right, let's look at another pattern. Let's look at Sana's pattern. Her pattern is 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So a little bit different, right? We're starting at 60. And starting number for Sana, 60. Counting by tens, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. What would be the next number? 110, counting by tens. What would be the 20th term in this pattern? Okay, now that's something to think about, isn't it? How could you figure it out? Since we're starting at 60, it's a little bit different, isn't it? Here we started at 10 because we're counting by tens. Here we started at 5 because we're counting by fives. Could we compare Una's pattern and Sana's pattern and think about it that way? That's one option, right? So the first three terms are 60, 70, and 80. And the first three terms of Una are 10, 20, and 30. So the terms of Sana's are 50 more than Una's. Do you see that? This is 50 more, right? So the 20th term would be 250 because the 20th term of Una's is 200. Ooh, that's tricky. 250. What's another way we could do it? Could we count on our fingers? Right? So let's see. We already have 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. That's 5. So we already have 5. And we need 20. So we need 15 more. 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200, 200, 10, 220, 230, 240, 250. That was 15, and it came out to 250 as well. Okay, so maybe you have another way that you could do it as well. But what do these three patterns have in common? We are all adding, right? We are adding to get from one term to the next. And everything has whole numbers, right? Just adding. Our patterns are additive and our numbers are whole numbers. Does it have to be this way? No, you could use any operation, right? You could multiply, you could divide, you could subtract, and you could use fractions, you could use decimals, lots of possibilities. Okay, so think of the first 5 terms of a number pattern that use a rule other than addition to get from one term to the next, and fractions or decimals. Okay? And you could write it down. You could write it down on that same chart that you've been working on. Could be something kind of simple. Could be subtraction, right? Using fractions or decimals. And have it ready for the next video because we're going to talk about it then. I'll see you in video 2. Mahalo and aloha.